Portland be the 18th team in Major League Soccer.
It's the city of Portland's championship.
It is great to be home.
Sports Sunday with Orlando Sanchez.
It's so good to be back. What is good, everyone? Welcome to Sports Sunday. My name is Orlando, joined by the one and only Art Edwards. How you doing today, man?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good today.
You can always check the temperature with Art based on one team.
That's right.
Good to see your Niners make things interesting again.
Yeah, making me happy.
All right, man. Well, before we, talk about sports and stuff, let's start the show by saying Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish brothers and sisters out there. The Festival of Lights getting underway tonight around the world. These candles belong to friend of the show, Lisa. A joyous holiday to all of you celebrating. We've got a busy show ahead. The Seattle Seahawks will be under the bright lights of Monday Night Football. You're not going to believe this, but at 3-7, they've still got a shot at the playoffs.
What?
I know, man. I'll explain. Plus, the Portland Timbers will be in the soccer spotlight. They'll host the Western Conference Final on Saturday with a chance at the MLS Cup.
Wow.
And is this the highlight of the year? Crazy playoff weekend in high school football. How in the heck did he pull that off?
I don't know.
We'll talk about that too. It wasn't just bragging rights on the line in the 125th rivalry game between the Ducks and Beavers. The North Division title was still up in the air.
Oh, yeah.
And a ticket to the Pac-12 championship game. More than 56,000 at Autzen Stadium.
Nice crowd.
First sellout there since the 2019 rivalry game. Fresh off the most lopsided loss of the Mario Cristobal era, the Ducks went ahead and took it out on Oregon State. They were up 24-3 in the first half. Wow. Behind the play of quarterback Anthony Brown, the Beavers, they couldn't stop him. On the ground, through the air, didn't matter. He chalked up 358 all-purpose yards, and OSU's high-powered rushing attack held in check. Despite a second-half rally, it wasn't enough to dig themselves out of that hole. Oregon picks up its 10th win of the season, takes the North, heading to the Pac-12 championship for the third consecutive season.
It was a rough plane ride back last week. And, we talked about it early in the week when something like that, when you go through something like that, you have to look in the mirror and you have to dig deep and regroup quickly. Our team leadership did a good job with that.
We were ready for this moment and we were excited and we're like, let's just handle our business this week. It's truly 1-0. Like we just need to win this week and we'll get to next week afterwards.
So, Art, it is on to the Pac-12 championship. Oregon versus Utah, Friday in Las Vegas. It's got a 5 o'clock kickoff. Odds makers say the Ducks are 3-point underdogs.
Okay.
ESPN's matchup predictor gives the Utes a 61% chance of winning. So I know everyone's wondering why. Well, that's because less than 2 weeks ago, Utah smashed Oregon 38-7 in Salt Lake City, a game that was over in the first half, and it knocked Oregon out of really that national college football playoff discussion.
Yeah.
So, Art, big game. Who you got?
I think I've got Oregon in this one. I think because of the culture they're building there, that Mario Cristobal is going to have them ready to play. And I think talent-wise, they match up.
Yeah, and I always look at Vegas to see how close it is. If they're going, 7-10,
yes,
I start to get a little nervous. But 3 is almost like a pick-em.
Yeah, toss-up.
And I do like what you're saying, especially I was very curious to see how they would come out of the rivalry game.
Yeah.
How are they going to start that game? And that loss, that blowout loss, they clearly had put that behind them.
Oh, they really did. You know what? And the other thing is, don't think you heard any boos in that stadium. You were there.
Right.
Anybody booing Anthony Brown?
Oh, no. And if he plays at that level, if he's more than just a game manager and makes a few plays here and there, I mean, he had one of the best throws of his Oregon career in that game against Oregon State, and it really helped break open that game.
He did some great stuff. I mean, Utah handled them in that game, 8 days ago, something like that. I think that Oregon came out flat in that game. Maybe the moment was too big because they knew that they had to win out. They knew they were going to have to beat them twice if they were going to get into the playoff. So maybe the moment was just a little bit too big for them, right then. But I do believe they'll regroup. The offensive line has a lot to prove.
Right.
Those guys were really unhappy after that game, the first game against Utah, and I think they're going to come out a whole lot different this time.
Yeah, their pride will be tested because no one likes getting embarrassed the way that they did, and that's what happened. They got owned. And maybe you're right, that pressure, playing for a national championship, the college football playoff, all of that is gone. They don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and they played the kind of game that they have played a lot this season, where they've done some pretty good things, but they really did themselves in. They were down in the red zone a couple of times in the first half against Utah, didn't come away with any points. Utah was the first time they played a team that had a quality type roster that would make them pay for not getting points in those situations.
Right. Obviously, mistakes will be huge.
Oh yeah.
And Coach Cristobal, he wants to be able to run the ball.
Yes,
they can establish the run. That's their bread and butter.
No doubt about it.
All right, Art. So the winner of the Pac-12 championship goes to the Rose Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
But where does that leave the Ducks if they lose? Sports Illustrated projects they'll end up in the Vegas Bowl against Purdue. As for the Oregon State Beavers, Sports Illustrated predicting the Alamo Bowl against Kansas State. The Pac-12 has just 6 teams eligible for a bowl game. Art, your thoughts on the Beavers?
Well, to me, it doesn't matter where they go to play a bowl game. It's just the fact that they're in a bowl game.
Right.
That is really exciting and makes me feel really good about the direction that they're going. I mean, those guys just have to be just still in the clouds over what they've been able to accomplish this season. Kansas State, I think that'd be a fun game.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the Beavs were upset about the way things went in Eugene. They really wanted to win, spoil the party, and all of that good stuff. And it makes sense. But yeah, they're off to their best season since 2013. And Oregon State made sure to put a ring on it, so to speak, and lock up Jonathan Smith long term. Keep him in Corvallis until 2027. Good idea. They got their man.
That's right.
So let's see how the Beavs do. It'll be fun to watch them play in a bowl game for the first time in a few years, man. So, folks, do you think Wazoo fans are excited? They're living large, securing the Apple Cup, snapping a 7-game losing streak to their rivals, the Washington Huskies. I mean, they ran all over UW in a 40-13 blowout victory in Seattle. And Art, you see this? Deion McIntosh, he gets the score here, and what's he doing? He hugs the mascot. You get a 15-yard penalty for that.
No way.
That just ain't right.
No, not right at all.
Come on, refs. You got to let the mascot slide on this one.
I mean, would you get flagged for hugging the paper maker?
One of the greatest mascots of all time.
Yes.
All right, so Washington State has officially made Jake Dickert their head coach. Dickert was the defensive coordinator before replacing Nick Rolovich, who was fired for not complying with Washington's vaccine mandate. Dickert had a 3-2 record as interim head coach. So the Cougs get their man as well.
Absolutely.
Meantime, USC goes with a high-profile coach from the Big 12, Lincoln Riley, leaving the Oklahoma Sooners for the Trojans. Riley's departure is a big blow to the Sooners, who are about to transition into the SEC.
Good luck with that.
Riley had a 55-10 record in 5 seasons, including a 37-7 mark in the conference. I am looking forward to seeing what he can do in the Pac-12.
Yeah, going to maybe be a lot of Texas kids coming to L.A. to play.
Yeah, he knows a thing or two about quarterbacks.
Yes, he does.
All right, well, we've got much more Sports Sunday still to come. Aren't your 49ers?
Yes.
They get a big win. Does it help? Of course, when Kirk Cousins doesn't know who he's supposed to snap. Where is he going? I'm shocked seeing this.
That's crazy.
Well, we'll have the rest of the day in the NFL for you. Really, where was he going?
I don't know.
The ball wasn't even there. Plus, how about those Silverton Foxes, 5A state champs, the history they made at Hillsborough Stadium. And welcome back to Sports Sunday. Art, I'm going to try my hardest not to lose everyone in this conversation. I mean,
it's tough.
People are going to roll their eyes at me. They're going to start laughing.
Yes, they are.
So bear with me. We're going to try and get through this, folks. Believe it or not, at 3-7, the Seattle Seahawks still have a shot at making the playoffs. But they desperately need a win, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
They'll visit the Washington football team on Monday night. A Seahawks win moves them one game out of the final wild card spot in the NFC.
Wow.
Only 6 teams in the entire NFC have a winning record. That's a lot of bad teams.
That's a lot of bad teams.
So we're saying there's a chance. Seattle has 7 games left, and only 3 of those are against teams with winning records, including your 49ers.
Yes.
Without, and they're 10-7.
Wow.
But there's not a lot of room for error. Washington riding a 2-game win streak, but they're 4-6 on the season. So, Art, let's take this one game at a time.
Yeah.
Can they beat Washington?
Maybe.
Okay. I mean, this is an improvement.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I think 1 week extra for Russell Wilson to get back into the flow of things, because he didn't look like he was ready.
No, I don't think he really was. I think he came back too soon. He felt like the team needed him, and and he's the best quarterback on the squad, so no doubt.
Well, and I don't think defense was really the issue. I know that they've had the reputation and haven't been good at parts, but this really wasn't their big problem last week.
They went 7 quarters without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
So they went a long time without getting, getting in the end zone. So, it was the offense that was struggling.
So let's start there and see if Russ and company can get something cooking.
Right.
But it starts against that Washington football team.
I'm going to bust out the abacus to do the math and see if they really are.
I was waiting for that.
To see if they really are still.
Art, apparently the KGW budget doesn't cover those, by the way. I looked it up.
All right.
All right, Art, let's take a trip around the NFL. Big comebacks and wild finishes win the day. So let's start in the Mile High City. Chargers visiting the Broncos. And not a great day for the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Ooh.
Pick 6 in the 4th quarter. Game out of reach. Patrick Surtain, the defensive scorer. Broncos get the dub. 28-13. Both teams now 6-5.
All right, let's take a trip to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. The Colts hosting the Buccaneers. Colts managed to blow a 10-point halftime lead. The Bucs' Leonard Fournette, man, he capped the comeback with his 28-yard touchdown run in the 4th quarter.
Oh, he gone.
He had 4 touchdowns on the day, and the Bucs' defense held Jonathan Taylor, who's been the best back in the league, in check. Tampa Bay wins it 38-31.
All right, let's travel to New England. In a day between the Titans and Patriots at Gillette Stadium. Patriots on the rise with a rookie quarterback and a former Milwaukee High School star. Kendrick Bourne, welcome back to the show. 2 touchdown catches, 41 yards on this one. That is nice. Patriots thrash the Titans 36-13. Both teams 8-4. Man, the Patriots are back.
Yes, they are. Hey, it's time to go to the frozen tundra of Green Bay for the Packers and the Rams. But it wasn't frozen. Temperature in the 30s at kickoff. What about that? Hey, maybe that helped Aaron Rodgers and his injured toe. He had no problems today. Ran for a touchdown right there, and he threw for 2 more scores. The Rams, they had no answer for Rodgers at all. Green Bay wins it 36-28. They're second in the NFC with an 8-3 record right now. The Rams fall to 7-4.
Oh, man, things are heating up between the Packers and the Cardinals. The NFC is starting to take form, man.
At the top, looks good, looks strong.
We got more ahead. We'll see you on the other side.
Catches the ball off his back plate, somehow manages to hang on the way to the ground. That is a SportsCenter top 10 highlight and a huge play in this ball game on 4th down.
Andrew Nemec was all over that, by the way.
He was. Hey, here's Orlando's angle of what may be the play of the year in Oregon high school football. Much, much better than the broadcast version of it.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Central Catholics, Strider Todd Fields with that catch off the back of the defender for the score. Rams beat Jesuit ahead of the 6A championship game against Tualatin. It is your Toyota Sunday sizzle.
Respect to those Central Catholic Rams.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, how about those Portland Timbers? They had a Thanksgiving to remember.
Up in the air from Acosta. Paredes got touched to knock it down. Scramble of bodies right now. It's in. Larry Smabiola didn't score all year. He scored in back-to-back playoff games.
Mr. Clutch.
Yeah.
Larry Smabiola called game in the 90th minute to beat the top seed Colorado Rapids 1-0. It's the 4th time in franchise history the Timbers clinch a spot in the Western Conference Final, and it gets even better, Soccer City. The Timbers will host Real Salt Lake at Providence Park in the Conference Final That match will be Saturday at 3:30.
Get ready.
Woo! The Oregon State men's soccer team advanced in the NCAA tournament. All they do is win. The Beavers took out New Hampshire 1-0 in the third round of the tournament. Oregon State is the top overall seed, #1, and they'll take on Clemson in the next round. Beavs on a mission.
Yes, sir. Hey, the Oregon women's volleyball team headed to the NCAA tournament. The selection show was today. The 19th ranked Ducks will play Kansas in the first round on Thursday. Oregon, they've made it to the tournament 14 out of the last 16 years.
All right, Art, let's hoop it up for a minute.
Okay.
Portland Trail Blazers look like two different teams depending on the venue. At home, 9-1, a force in the Western Conference.
Yes.
But away from the Moda Center, 1-9.
Man.
Where they look like one of the worst teams. Well, they're on the road right now. Fresh off back-to-back losses, they'll visit the Utah Jazz without one of their starters. Norman Powell listed as out. The team says it's a right quad contusion. The Blazers are 7.5-point underdogs and will have to prove they can defend consistently on the road, especially against Donovan Mitchell and company. Game time, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Saturday wasn't just reserved for college football.
No, it wasn't.
There were some blue trophies handed out as well. A rainy Hillsborough Stadium, Oregon 5A state championship, Silverton taking on the defending champs Thurston, and the Foxes weren't messing around. It was a Jordan McCarty party, throwing darts to Austin Ratliff and Vanden Fessler. Silverton jumped out to a 23-0 lead and held on for the dub.
Yeah.
For the first time since 1991, the Silverton Foxes are state champions. Final count, 26-20. Silverton not the only champs crowned this weekend. Here's a list of those receiving that blue trophy. Marshfield won its first championship since '92. They beat Marist Catholic 49-34. Dom Montiel threw for 439 yards. He ran for $121. 3 years ago. Siaslaw was winless. Now, 3A state champs. They take care of business, and Coquille, they rode the legs of Gunnar Yates to its first title since 1970. Yates ran for 388 yards, 5 touchdowns in the Red Devils' 38-28 W over Kennedy for the 2A title. And defending 1A champs, Adrian came from behind in the fourth quarter to beat Powder Valley 46-38.
Hey, way to go, teams. Hey, hats off to the Linfield Wildcats because they are now on to the Division III quarterfinals. After a big upset on the road, they took out 5th-ranked St. John's, the Johnnies, 31-28 Minnesota. Wildcats have to take on undefeated Mary Hardin Baylor next week. They're ranked #2 on Saturday morning. But you know Linfield's undefeated as well.
Oh, that's what they do.
Oh, yeah, it is.
On the way to more dubs. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Former Trailblazer, current Boston Celtics center Enes Kanter is going to become a U.S. citizen tomorrow. And with that, he'll legally change his name to Enes Kanter Freedom. He is an outspoken critic of human rights issues, and freedom's going to be the last name. He says that's what his teammates call him.
Congratulations to
cool.
Enes Kanter. We got to go. Good night.